Hi, I'm Chris Matthew, the Director of Business Development for Voxeo Labs, the creators of Tropo, Phono, and SMSified, and lots of other cool technologies in the pipeline. So, have you ever been in charge of a conference call and set it up and either one or two people didn't show or someone's always late? Well, that happens to everybody, don't feel bad. So I created a conference caller application to solve that problem. And what it basically does is you can add a list of people, could be your whole team, and when you're ready to do a stand-up, you select the members of the team and hit the start a conference call. And what it does is it places calls simultaneously to everyone in the list with a checkbox next to their name and prompts them, well, it first tells them that they're invited to join a conference call, and it asks them to either say one or press the one key, and it brings them into the conference call. If they choose anything else or don't hit anything, it just tells them goodbye and hangs up. So pretty simple application. It's written in Ruby on Rails, and it uses the Twitter Bootstrap for all the CSS goodness. That's what makes it look so pretty. And it also uses the Tropo Scripting API and Ruby to actually run the application or the script in the Tropo Cloud. So what happens is all the Rails application, it'll look very similar to a scaffolding application. But when you start the conference call, it simply makes a REST API call to the Ruby script running in the Tropo Cloud and passes it a string of numbers, a comma delimited string of numbers. And I'll walk you through how those numbers are split into an array, and then using multi-threading, it will simultaneously call all of the numbers and invite them to the conference. So let's add another number. Again, this is scaffolding. Looks familiar. So we'll create one called Batline. That's my Batline in my office, my top secret Batline number, which is now not so top secret. So we create that number there. Now you see we have multiple numbers. If we just do start conference there, there's some nice Ajax messaging goodness, HTML5 that comes that you can integrate into with jQuery into Twitter Bootstrap. That tells you need to select people in the list to dial. So I added this nifty little select all, so you don't have to go through and select them one by one. And when I hit start conference, what it will do is it will simultaneously call both of these numbers. One's my mobile, one is my desk phone here, and start inviting us to join the conference. So let me hit start conference now. You'll see a little Ajax spinner below it, and then as soon as the request is fired off to Tropo, you'll see the little Ajax or the jQuery message there that says we're dialing numbers. So watch this. There's the Ajax. There's the message. So Tropo's already running the Ruby script now in the cloud. There's my mobile. There's my desk phone ringing at the same time. I'm going to answer my desk phone.
You're being invited to join a conference call. Press or say 1 to accept the call. Press or say 1 to accept the call.
1. Hello, now we're on a conference call. Very cool, right? So now we've got a lot of echo here in the man cave, which is to be expected. So I'm going to hang up on that one, hang up on this one, and now I will walk through and show you how the code works. So if we come to TextMate here, it's about 78 lines if you include all my comments. If you stripped all the comments out, it's a really simple, maybe 25-line Ruby script. The reason I like Ruby, besides it being really simple to write and kind of elegant as a dynamic scripting language, but it supports multi-threading, which is key to making this work, and it runs in the Tropo cloud. So it uses the Tropo Scripting API, and I don't have to host this part of my code at all. So Rails I have hosted on Heroku, and this Ruby script is hosted in the Tropo Cloud. And remember, it's fired off by a REST call with it being passed a string, a comma delimited string of phone numbers. So let me walk you through the code. What we do first is we set up the conference parameters. Now these are things like, will it play a tone? Will the parties be muted or not muted in the call? And this play tones here allows you to basically pass DTMF tones through the conference to other participants. I could probably turn that off, but I left it as true. What I do here is I'm setting the conference call or the conference ID to a date stamp, just so it's unique and everyone has the same conference room number as you'll see in the threads. So the first thing we're going to do is create a threads array. And this is important because as we spin up each thread, we want to make sure at the end of the logic here that we're able to join all of the threads so that the calls stay active until the whole conference will stay active until the last party drops out of the conference. So that's what the join does. It brings them all together into a truly multi-threaded app running inside of the Tropo Cloud. So what we do next is we have a loop. So if you look at my Rails code, which all of this will be up on GitHub, I'll put the link in the blog on Tropo to the code, to both the Rails code and the Ruby script running on Tropo. But we're passing in a query string with a variable phones. And like I said earlier, it's just a comma delimited string. Could be hundreds of numbers, could even be 1,000 numbers, if you have that many friends to call, or God forbid, a stand-up. And what happens? So the split method on a string creates an array of each of the numbers, and the number is being iterated on by x. So what we do first is we're going to create a new thread. We're going to log the call to the Tropo logger, just saying we're placing a call now to this number. X is iterating through the array. And then the call setup is handled here by call, tell, and then the plus symbol is the system, the numbering system for dialing numbers. Don't forget that your numbers should have country codes on them, so that this is truly an international application. You could call people, America, London, Paris, Australia, wherever you need to get a hold of your people for this conference call. And there's events that happen inside of here. So inside of the call, when the call is answered, the onAnswer event fires. And using Ruby, you can create lambdas, which is another block of code to execute within that event. So on answer, we're going to log to the Tropo log again that the invitee is now on the line. We're going to create a new call object, which is basically the event value of the on answer. And we are going to tell them hello. We're going to do a new call.say, you're being invited to join a conference call. And then using the ask method on Tropo, we can ask them a prompt, basically. And we're saying press or say 1 to accept the call. What happens next in this choices parameter or option of an ask is a simple grammar here. This could be a very complex grammar that looks and behaves more like natural language. But Tropo comes with a bunch of simple grammars. You could put keywords, comma delimited, or use something like this where you're looking for one digit, 10 digits, whatever. So it's just going to listen for one digit, regardless of what the digit is. It's going to just make sure it's a recognizable number, a single number. It's going to give it 15 seconds for the timeout. If it hears something within 15 seconds, and if it recognizes that it's in fact a digit, it will fall into this on choice option of the ask and roll through one more lambda. And the lambda is basically just prompting or evaluating the person's response. So if they said the word one or pressed the one key, it's going to fall into this if logic here. That's going to say, it's going to play an MP3 beep. That gives it the little sound effect like they're being placed into something. You could also use maybe text to speech in 24 languages to say bonjour, you're being put into conference, whatever. And then what happens next is just basically dropping them into the existing conference. So remember, we had the conference ID as a date stamp. The conference options are that they're not in mute. And that one line of code puts them in the conference. If they would have said anything but a 1, then it would have told them that's okay. Now they will probably talk about you, and then it hangs up on them. That's it. So then once all the threads fired up, across the whole number list, it joins all the threads together and puts everyone into the conference call. So about 25 lines of Ruby. The Rails app, as you saw, was just mostly scaffolding and the Twitter Bootstrap for CSS. About 4 hours total to put all of this together with the polish and a little Ajax sugar. And we've got something that's pretty handy. Could probably start a business with this code base. So all of the code is open source. We release everything under the Apache 2 license. I will have links in the blog post on where the code is at. And I hope you enjoyed the screencast, and I hope that you too enjoy using Tropo and through walking through these demos, learn just how powerful it is. So until next time, see ya!